The Street Corner Soapbox. The Street Corner Soapbox with Fausto and Willin. Podcast takeover. We're making a killing. Music to nightlife. Debauchery and street news. Serving it hot. We are some street news, movies and mayhem. The craziest guests, words from chaos. Get it off our chest. Rhode Island, worldwide, dark corners in all places. Speak how we live, radio show, smoking aces. Ladies and gents, for the people we're talking. Take the show on the road, right where you're walking. Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Street Corner Soapbox Podcast coming to you live.
That's right, boys and girls. Episode 3, Street Corner Soapbox here with my brother, Lord Willin.
Yo, what's good, people?
And Peter Barrett, a.k.a. Slippery Pete. How you doing?
What's up, fellas?
Yo, Slippery Pete, my man. What's going on, bro?
Oh, dude, I'm just living the dream.
No doubt, man. Good to have you here, bro.
Good to be here.
No doubt, man. Slippery Pete, professional MMA fighter from the Plymouth area?
So I grew up in Abington.
Okay. So what's that like? That's South Shore, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So South Shore representing in the house. You know what I'm saying? I've actually trained with Peter over at Sit Your Thong in Boston. Shout out to Crew Mark and everyone over there.
Right on.
Great gym, great facility, top-notch Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA. And I want to get Pete on the show, man. He's a good guy, and I'm glad he's here. And
Thanks for coming down, Petey.
Hell yeah.
So why don't you get into your martial arts background? How you got started? The beginnings of Slippery Pete.
Yeah, man. So, I wrestled all through high school. It was something that gave me a great base coming into MMA, and lifelong athlete. Always loved like that competitive aspect of wrestling, football, lacrosse, like all of them. Grew up playing sports my whole life. Played rugby in college, and then as nice. I kind of came to an end, I decided to get back into Muay Thai kickboxing, BJJ.
Right.
I ended up down at a gym in Denver where this kid Brandon Thatch was teaching, and he was the big up and coming kid in Colorado at the time.
Nice.
He's a UFC vet, absolute savage killer.
Yep.
Got talking with those guys, started going to their fight team to help get some of their guys ready for fights, and really just fell in love with the sport. Moved home a few years later, and my cousin was fighting as an amateur at the time, and he had to drive by my house every day to go to the gym. So I was like, yo, bro, you got to pick me up, and I'm going to come with you, and we're going to do this together. And,
Hell yeah.
That's how I really got into it, and it was just, I haven't really looked back since.
Cool. So you came from a predominantly wrestling background prior to MMA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's usually a good foundation, right? A lot of guys make that transition from wrestling game to the MMA game.
Yeah, so, like, the thing with wrestling is, like, you'll never be forced to work like that anywhere else as you will in, like, a high school wrestling.
Right.
You're not a pro athlete, you're not an up-and-comer, you can't, like, tell your coach to go fuck off. Like, you're a kid on a team and you have a coach, and when he tells you to go do sprints, he's telling you to hit sprawls, he's telling you to take 50 shots, like, do 100 shots on each side. Like, yeah, dude, like, you don't have the ability to say no or to, like, have an attitude against it. You just learn how to work hard and be a good, like, to be a good listener and to be a good athlete.
Discipline.
Yeah, like, to be really coachable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't replicate that anywhere else. Like, yeah, you could do that in a college wrestling room, but the underlying thing is, like, you can't replicate what type of work and discipline comes out of a wrestling program.
Yeah, so it definitely instills that discipline and that the training regimen, and so once you move on to something else, you don't even have to worry about that, right? It's already there. So then let me ask you, how was your transition from that into MMA? How'd you find that?
So, like, when I was in high school, dude, like, it was 2005, so that was right around when the Ultimate Fighter 1 and 2 and 3 were getting real big.
Yep.
And, like, I always thought the idea of MMA would be cool.
What year did you graduate?
2005.
2005? Okay.
Yeah. So
me and Pete actually have the same birthday, too.
Really?
Leo Power, yeah, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
But, yeah, so...
So, dude, the idea of, like, wrestling and getting punched in the face and kicked and knee and elbow, I was like, fuck that, dude. Like,
yeah, right. You don't have to deal with that in wrestling.
I mean?
Yeah.
But then, I went to college watching it. Like, that was, like, Liddell and Couture was huge.
Hell yeah.
That whole era. And then, dude, I just kind of like slowly got into the Muay Thai, slowly got into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you kind of just like cultured into it, and then getting punched in the face really isn't that big of a deal.
Right.
And then you just learn how to beat people up and take a hit and move on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get thick skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where did you start off training at first? Was it sit or?
So very first, way back in the day, was Denver, Colorado.
Oh, you said that, right,
yeah,
right, okay.
At Inner Strength Fitness.
Okay.
With Brandon Batch.
What brought you out to Denver?
I was in college.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
College Denver?
Yep.
And then when you came back, how did you get it? Where did you go from there?
So when I came back, I started training at Max Training Center in Stoughton with Mike Vanna.
Okay.
And when Vanna fought, he cross-trained at Sit Yat Tong in the Boneyard. So those guys would go up to Sit and spar there and then train at the Boneyard. So by way of that connection, Varner brought me and my little brother up to Crew Mark, and we started cross-training there.
Nice.
And it started with like just showing up for fight team training to spar to like training there regularly full time.
That's usually how it happens, right? Like usually you cross train and you might go
your
from one gym to the next.
Did your father fight your uncles or anything? Because
No.
you already said your brother and your cousin.
Yeah, dude. Like we're just mental, dude. You know what
I mean,
We're just
fucking street
bad,
fighting,
man.
fucking barroom brawling.
My cousin Zach, dude. Like even knowing what I know now and what I've done, like I still don't like. I like the idea of like lacing up gloves and sparring him. I'm like, what the fuck? He's gonna hit me really fucking hard, dude. Like it might not be the prettiest thing, but I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah.
But no, it was just like. Dude, something healthy to focus on to keep you busy.
Hell yeah,
keeps
bro.
you out of like
Absolutely.
your own fucking your own misery. Yeah, dude. So it's like
It does.
some dudes like get out of work and go drink all day. I like to get.
I did that for a long time.
And there's no I'm not slighting that or there's no shame on that.
Yeah.
But like, I like the idea that like I'm in the gym all day or I'm training other people all day, and it's like a really healthy, rewarding lifestyle.
It is. It is.
You know what I'm saying? So like. We all have our demons, and we've all been preoccupied with our various, vices. And for my brother and for my cousin, it was a really healthy way to stay healthy and stay active.
Absolutely, bro. It worked for me a lot, especially the last couple of years, man, because I was a bit of an animal.
You changed
and
100.
Yeah, but martial arts has been a big part in keeping me to stay focused and disciplined and sane.
Yeah, dude. It's like
sure.
It started like wanting to fight people. You know what I mean? And like trying to become like the baddest motherfucker to like this journey where you're just trying to become a better version of yourself through your fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you find that like to get better, you got to refine and take all the bullshit away. And it like you can do it just in the cage, or you can do it in the cage and in your life. And I found to balance it on both sides to try to like get better at everything through way of learning how to fight. You know what I mean? They say master one way, you can master them all.
Word.
And that's what I'm trying to do here with fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So I have to ask you, how'd you get the nickname Slippery Pete? Is it from Slips or?
No, it has nothing to do with fighting. And dude, it was funny because I was just driving down here listening to EEI before I threw a podcast on.
Yep.
And they were talking about how Cam Newton's got nicknames for everybody. And they were like, oh, most nicknames are best made when you're drunk late night, this and that. So I'm like, that's actually how I got it. My mom and my stepdad had all of his sisters over and my family over having dinner party or whatever. We all got over to have dinner and whatnot. And later at night, my stepsister was saying, oh, I remember going to this place this year, this place that year, this place this year. She goes, but I don't ever remember Peter being there. My stepdad, in his older age and kind of declining health, he was a little lit at that point. He looks up and he goes, who, Slippery Pete? He was always there. He was just out chasing the ladies.
Word. Yeah, that's
great. Which was always kind of true, So it was more of a like, because I was a man whore when I was younger. But,
Classic.
That happened on Saturday. I showed up to the gym on Monday, told my buddies the story, and the name stuck from it.
Word, bro. That's a classic story right there.
Slippery Pete.
Slippery Pete, yeah. I dig it. I wasn't sure if it was maybe from like slipping punches or something.
No,
but,
I wasn't that good at it way back then.
Or hard to maybe, or maybe hard to take down or something. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's a great story. So how would you describe your fighting style? And I consider you to be you're definitely a tough fighter, man. I'll say that much. No question about that.
Yeah, I mean, my fighting style, dude. I just like to fight. I like to sit in the middle. And I like to trade punches. I like to put on exciting fights.
Yeah, definitely.
I refuse to be in a boring fight. And I like to knock motherfuckers out.
Hell yeah. That's what people want to see too.
Most of my wins are all first round TKO KOs. I've had a couple late ones, and I've had a couple of decisions, but I mean, I fight to finish. I don't fight.
What's your record?
I think I'm 11-9.
I think it's 11 and 4. 11 and 4.
11 and 4.
11-3, 11 and 4.
Record,
Dude,
baby.
I gotta like check because I just lost. Sounds terrible.
Yeah,
I don't
nah, but you're like I said.
I don't know what to like. I don't know. Yeah, I'm 11 and 4.
A lot of people. Listen, let me say this.
My bad, dude. I smoked a fat
Bro.
bowl on my way down here. I'm
Pete-
11 and
I didn't know.
11 and 4.
Pete's a tough dude, man. A lot of people that kick, man. A lot of people wouldn't have recovered from that. I don't think.
Dude, that kick was beautiful.
It
was
was.
well timed. It was well placed. And it definitely shook me and rocked my fucking world.
Yeah, but you got up,
15
dude.
seconds out, but I got right back
Yeah,
up,
you
dude.
did,
I finished
man.
that fight.
Yeah, man, you did. You finished the whole fight, and I got to give it to you that definitely tenacious fighter for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of people would have been done after getting that kick.
You got to be willing to go out on your shield, dude. Not enough people
No,
are.
warrior status, man. Absolutely.
But you're not gonna find me quitting. That's for sure.
Nah, man.
You know, I've been in fights where I was getting my ass whooped.
Yep.
Or it was a tough fight, and I've thought like, man, I might tap the punches, and I'm like, nah, bro, you ain't tapping the punches. This is some bullshit. Like, you're gonna have to figure this out. You're gonna have to get back up. You're gonna have to figure this out. But dude, I remember sitting there. I've been sitting there before, like covering up against the cage on my back, like. This is fucking miserable. Like, how the like,
Yeah, right,
I'm like,
exactly.
dude, like, I just feel like you could just. There's times where I felt like I couldn't get out of the way of getting hit, and I'm like, there's no this. It's not coming to this. And then you gotta have a little conversation with yourself real quick, put your shit back together, stuff your balls back in your pants, and get up and get off the fucking cage. But like,
yeah.
I've had the conscious conversation. You know, it was during the TJ Brown fight, dude. I was like, who was another kid that got signed on Contender the same night as me. Small world, but. I remember just being like, this fucking sucks, dude. And that was the first fight after my dad died. So I drank through that whole camp. I was a pretty shitty person at that point in my life.
Yep.
Not like to other people, but to myself and how I treated myself and lots of self-medicating. But, dude, I remember being in there and just being like, this fucking blows, dude. It was tough.
Do you think that was your toughest fight with JT Brown, or just because of what you were going through? You weren't really
I think it was
distracted.
Yeah, I just think for the time that it was at and the way it was placed, I think it was a good testament. Again, that fight was a really good testament to how tough I can be when I need to be. But I was in a really bad place, and I thought fighting was going to help me get through it, and I just kind of masked everything and made it look like I was doing everything right, and I really wasn't. Yeah, I was showing up. I just was fucking off on my own time.
Yeah, I not preparing for a professional fight, but throughout the years of during my heavy partying days, I would go train like the next day, fucking hungover, and it was just like. It was just a mess, dude.
We were at the Sheridan. Can't go work it out.
Yeah, it was just a fucking. It was a mess, bro. Like, and I had one teacher tell me one time, like, I used to talk to him about, because he had a background where he was, involved in some shit, and he was like, at some point, man, you got to choose between what you want to do. You can't continue to do both, and that really resonated with me. Even though it took me a while after that to even get to the point where I wasn't being a degenerate, but.
5 in the morning.
Yeah, dude. I mean, sometimes you get the medicine that doesn't take effect till much later in life, and you reflect on that shit, and you're like, "Oh, that's what he meant." He was trying to save me then.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's like total cliche. Like your parents tell you, "Oh, you're never gonna know like what I know, and you're my age or whatever." And it's like you think about it, and then you think when I was younger, I thought, "Oh, they were full of shit," but now it's like, "Oh man, I wish I listened to them and took."
Yeah, but
advice.
you wouldn't feel that way if you didn't do it your own way and figure
That's
that
true.
out on your own.
That's true.
You got to learn the hard way.
You gotta, yeah, dude. Me, especially that's the way how I was. Dude. You could tell me until you were blue in the face, "Hey, this is gonna go wrong. It's gonna go wrong." I'm like, I don't know. I gotta go figure this out. It sounds like a good time, dude. And then I'd come back.
I had
and
a great time.
Was it worth it? I'm like, I don't know if you want my answer to that question, but it was pretty fucked up for a bit.
It turns you into the person who you are, though.
Yeah, that's absolutely
100% makes your character.
So, who are some of your favorite fighters coming up? Coaches or martial artists? Inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, I followed the Diaz, like Nick,
no doubt.
Nick and Nate.
Hell yeah.
Like Nick in Japan fighting on Dream, like when he fighting Takanori Gomi.
Yep.
That was the UFC, but he fought Shinya Aoki a bunch over in Dream, which was awesome because like I'm like reaching back into my memory. So if I'm wrong, guys, don't like fucking crucify me. But I believe Dream, the first round was 10 minutes.
Oh shit! Kind of like Pride, right?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
you had to fucking like cardio was part of it.
Yeah.
Which is why Nick succeeded so much over there. But like Shinya Aoki, even him, he was one of my favorite guys to watch because of his history with Nick, and because I watched Dream a lot. But like Boss Rutan, he's a legend, dude.
Oh,
How can you not be a
dude.
fan of him?
Absolutely. Knocking motherfuckers out with palm strikes.
Dude, his
It's like Pete.
his security bar video, his
Yeah,
bar video
legendary.
security videos are fucking awesome. He's like, oh, you
Yeah.
take a bottle, you smash it over his head, he's not going to be having a good time. I'm like,
He ain't lying.
Nope.
He's throwing motherfuckers through windows and shit.
dude.
There's all kinds of stories
Fucking
about
wild.
him. He's one of a kind, that guy.
Hell yeah. I mean,
And he's a pioneer. He was doing it before it was mainstream.
dude, but it was before they wore gloves. He was still wearing boots,
Right. Yeah.
open hand strikes,
Right,
no,
exactly.
no,
Over in Japan, right?
yeah,
That
it was
Japan.
pancrase.
Yeah,
there was
pancrase,
no,
yeah.
What's a boot? I don't. I'm
Like he's basically wearing
It
like
was then
fucking wrestling
like
boots.
wrestling boots.
Oh,
Like
you
wrestling,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
dude, yeah.
And there was no closed hand strikes allowed to
Right.
the head. You could punch to the body, but you couldn't punch to the face. So he was like, that's why I said he was knocking motherfuckers out with a slap.
Yeah. It was like
blasting dudes.
It was like him and Ken Shamrock and shit.
Yeah,
you know, everyone knows Ken Shamrock from WWE and UFC too. But so you would say Bass Rutten definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, how can you not be a fan of that guy?
No,
but then, Cowboy Cerrone,
Yep,
he's a
yep,
fucking savage. He's a
absolutely.
killer, dude. I guess now he's a coworker, which is kind of pretty cool.
Yep.
We both fight in the same
Hell yeah.
organization. I'm not saying
yeah.
I'm not putting myself on his level, but we're both tough sons of bitches, that's for sure.
Hell yeah, for sure, man.
I was a fan. Still am a fan of Conor McGregor. Say
no
love
doubt.
him, hate him, but like the dude's on one for sure. Like he's
He's
got
a great
his,
MMA fighter. Man.
He's got the mental side reeled in.
How'd you
know what
feel
I mean?
about his boxing debut with Mayweather?
Dude, it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining. I do think he almost dropped him in the second or third round.
Yeah.
Right? But I think Mayweather just carried him.
Right. Well, that's what Mayweather does.
Intentionally. And then, like from his inexperience in the 11th round, he could have taken a knee and taken a standing 8 count to get the break.
Yep.
But because of his inexperience, he didn't know that he got the TKO'd.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I was very entertained.
Yeah, fair enough. So do you think like some people thought he was going to whoop Mayweather, but I mean, it's a different world. Again, it's a different world from MMA to just boxing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have all the same tools. You don't have to worry about knees. You don't have to worry about elbows. You don't have to worry about kicks.
Right.
You're not confined, but he's such a high-level boxer.
Right.
That
That's all he does.
That's all he does.
Right,
He eats
right.
and sleeps boxing.
Right.
And when I cross-train with boxers, like Olympians, I'm quickly reminded that without my punches, kicks, elbows, and knees, like my I look like a fucking infant amongst these
Absolutely,
boxers,
bro.
dude. And like,
your target areas.
Well, we have sometimes, but before COVID, we would have some boxers come in to sit. I know in spar and stuff, and it's definitely not easy.
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so the guys that I box with my buddy Marky DeLucas. He's
Okay.
a big name in the boxing in this area. So I hit him up so I could cross train with those guys.
Yep.
But he trains under Hector Bermudez, and Hector's got like 3 or 4 Olympians underneath him, or former Olympians that are now fighting underneath him.
Serious.
2 or 3 world champions. Like he travels out to Europe to go train with guys for the last couple weeks so they camp. Then
Mm-hmm.
goes and corners them. Like this dude is like elite, supreme, fucking cerebral boxing coach level guy.
Yeah, top
And
notch.
the guys that he's with, dude, the guys that box underneath him are just filthy, rotten animals. Like
Sure.
so fast. I could show you some videos. Like this
Yeah.
kid Abe Nova,
Yeah.
Abraham Supernova. You'd be blown away to fuck. You just hear brrr, and like you're like, dude,
Super fast.
He just fucking hit that thing 15 times before I blinked, while I blinked. But like, dude, they're raw, and it's just a quick reminder of like the levels between like MMA boxing,
Right.
boxing,
Right.
MMA boxing,
Yeah, yeah.
kickboxing, boxing,
Sure. Sure.
like
Different variables
some of
and
them,
everything.
yeah, like some of the dudes that are there, like, and they're all from like South America, so like their English is all horrible. So like sometimes we can fool around with like a little like different footwork, but like it's usually strict boxing, and I'm getting my ass whooped.
Yeah, South America produces a lot of great boxers. Too.
Yeah, dude.
Ton
Well,
of great boxers.
You don't find like prize fighters coming out of like white collar elite
Right,
communities.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
And even MMA fighters. I mean, a lot of MMA fighters come from rough backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know?
which is
Yeah.
Because it's like you were talking about before, you can use it as kind of an escape.
absolutely
Mm-hmm.
it gets a lot of people out of bad situations.
We were yeah.
Definitely.
You know, so run us through a little bit, if you don't mind, of your fight preparation, like before you're going into a
training
fight.
and everything.
Yeah, like
The
just a
diet, even.
quick rundown. Like, let's say you got a fight coming up, you
Yep.
know, in a month
Yep.
or whatever
Yep.
it is.
So, let's see if I can run back. So for my last fight camp, so post COVID, everything's a little different now, right?
Yeah.
So my last fight camp was very different than any of my other fight camps. So I'm going to give you what my last fight
All
camp
right.
looked like.
Cool.
Which, whatever. It's better this way because everything was super selfish for me, or centered on me,
Yep.
because we had to pull in small groups. So
Right.
I had probably anywhere from 8 to 10 guys over at Lozon's
Yep.
that would come in regularly for 12 o'clock rolling sessions, and they would push me, to make sure my ground game's on point. And that usually went down around 12. So actually, let me slow this down, take a couple of steps back. So Monday morning, I wake up, I've got personal training from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then I hit my first training session from 12 p.m., which is usually my grappling with the Lozon guys. So then that's 12 to 1, 1:30, chill out for a couple hours, and then head up to Sityodtong and get my sparring in. So I
Sure.
usually be up there for a couple hours.
Great sparring sessions over there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Some legendary sparring bouts.
Oh, dude, because you got all the killers up there, like
Yeah.
Chip, Andreas,
Absolutely.
Rico.
Chip's nasty, man.
Chip's savage.
I remember I was sparring with him, and I'm like, yo, this guy, I can't even mess with this dude. One time, he kicked me in the face. I didn't even see it coming, bro. I was like, where the fuck did that come from?
It's like that scene from Don't Mess with the Zohan where you just see the over the shoulder and he's like, was that your foot?
Yo, dude, I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like,
Dude's super smooth with it, bro.
yeah, man,
he's so slick.
Great
with it.
fighter. Shout out to Chip, man.
So normally it's I wake up, hit my personal training sessions, Lozon's, a little bit of a break, run home, eat lunch, let my dog out, chill for a second, head up to Somerville. Usually train up there for anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on what I've got going on.
Yep.
Tuesdays up early, drive out to Chelmsford, which, to give you guys a realm, that's like 50 miles each way for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my truck loves it.
Hard work and dedication, though, man.
Dude.
That's what
So,
it's about.
Drive out to Chelmsford, strength and conditioning for a few hours. If I made the time to get back in time, I would then either go see those boxing dudes, or I would go to like manual therapy and have like all my kinks worked out
Sure.
over at Zenden.
Gotta
like
recover.
we were talking about earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Like
yeah,
the recovery is such a big part of it, dude. And if like your sleep's fucked up, like you're not getting any output during the day. So what are we on Tuesday, right? So
Yep.
my Mondays and my Wednesdays are the same. Tuesday night, I would do a couple privates on Tuesday night, and then I would have Chip and a couple of the boys come up, and we'd work on Muay Thai and like flow sparring, technique and sparring. Wednesday's a rinse, wash, repeat of Monday.
Yep.
Thursday morning looks the same, but I got to go to work Thursday night. So I worked Thursday night and Saturday nights. I had Friday off so I could train Saturday
Bartender
morning.
as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we're both
So-
nightlife guys,
Yes.
so
So I
that-
slang the fire water.
no doubt, man.
It's a
Absolutely.
little different than what it used to be, and it's a
It
lot
is.
more slowed down. But
Yeah. So I've been working through this whole thing, doing that.
well, we reopened. So actually, now that I'm thinking out loud, dude, the whole thing was during the pandemic. So I didn't go back to working until after my fight. So I didn't have to work at all.
Yeah.
I was claiming unemployment, dude. I was
Yeah,
living
no.
the
Yeah,
wel- the
dude, I
welfare
know.
life.
I still am.
That $600 was nice.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah.
So you're working Thursday nights.
Yeah, dude, it just double sessions every day.
Yep.
Sparring on Mondays, sparring on Saturdays, and then a super disciplined diet.
Fridays off.
No. I would have my morning sessions. I would do my personal training, and then I would have my noon session with the Lozon guys.
Right.
So I apologize. Let me think this through. Monday, Wednesday, Friday were a rinse, wash, and repeat of each
Okay,
other.
okay.
Tuesdays
Gotcha.
and Thursdays were similar. So Friday, train at noon. I'd have a private at 4, and then I'd try to hit pads again Friday night after I had a client come over and work with me. So like being able to work one-on-one with people really helped keep me fed.
You enjoy doing that?
Oh, dude, I love it because I can kind of set a curriculum, and I've got like 4 or 5 different people I work with every week, and by the time I get to the 5th time I teach that same lesson that week, like I've really got it honed down to like a really good, usable drills, techniques, and whatnot. So,
do you see yourself, after your fighting days are over, coaching and moving into that realm?
Yeah, most definitely. I think there's a bright future there for me, especially with like the nutrition side. I mean, this was the first time I cut down to 145 since 2017 and made weight seamlessly. Like none of my coaches were worried, none of my coaches freaked out. There was no issues. No issues with my weight cut. At no point did I stop sweating. At no point did we panic. At no point, like, I did cramp a lot from Thursday night to Friday morning, so like I did reach out to a nutritionist about how to deal with the cramps, but there was no like emergency phone calls.
Pickle juice.
I think pickle juice.
Yeah, salt.
Disgusting.
Salt.
You don't like pickles?
No, I hate pickles.
But there was no, there were no issues with it, and I did all my weight cut on my own. A lot of people spend a lot of money to have nutritionists do those things for them. And I've done that in the past. I've worked with a lot of nutritionists through various camps when I was working full time and had more money and could afford it. So, I'm the type of person that likes to learn. I don't want to just be told what to do. I want to know why. I want to know how. I want to know what's going on behind it. So I worked with these nutritionists that I really took the opportunity to learn as much as I could from. So now I can apply it to any situation and help anybody. But I've also helped some of my teammates would manage their weight cuts for their fights, like Jay Perrin. That kid.
Shout out to Jay, man.
Another one. Make weight without me, dude. I promise you that.
Another top-notch fighter out of sit, man. No doubt. So this brings me into so you've reached you've done what a lot of fighters strive to do and dream to do. You've made it to the top dog, man, the UFC. Talk a little bit about that, making the dream come true, that process. I mean, I would say in these days, any fighter coming up in MMA, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
All right, so so you made it to the UFC, and that's probably every fighter's dream at this point. How did that feel, and maybe run through the process of making that come true?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, it took a long ass time. I didn't start fighting until I think I was like 24 or 25.
Okay.
My first amateur fight, and I'm 34 now, and I just made my UFC debut last month. So, I spent the better part of a decade working my ass off to get here.
Hard work pays off.
Once I started fighting, it was a goal, it was a dream, it was something that I put ahead of me as something that was attainable that I could do, and without getting in too much detail.
Yep.
Went pro, pulled up an 8-0 record. This was up until 2017.
Yep.
I lost my first fight. It was arguably it was almost like what had happened to Mike Rodriguez this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Underexperienced
I didn't
ref,
see that, but
made a bad call and cost me the fight. Yeah, you could say it's open to speculation, but a lot of people will also say, yeah, that was a very early stoppage. Ref told me to get up, protect myself, get up. I go to get, as I'm standing up off the ground to get him off of me, he stopped the fight. I was actively defending myself, actively getting up off the canvas. Like I got dropped with a hook when I was throwing a rear kick. Got dropped to my butt, turtled over, and stood right up. And as I was standing up, he called the fight. So that's 2017. I'm now 8-1. That was like April, May, July, 5th of July. I find out my younger brother overdosed on fentanyl.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. 2 months later, my dad had a heart attack and died. I was the one that walked in and found him in his apartment, ice cold. This now leads into me saying TJ Brown was the first fight after my dad died. Yeah. This is why I was drinking like an asshole. Yeah, this is why I was like, fuck off. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I go from being 8-0, knockout killer, savage, top of the game, Northeast, ready to rip, on the UFC's doorstep to slowly slipping away, 8-1, 8-2, 9-2, 9-3. Now I'm 11-4. I got the opportunity. I pulled my shit together. Took out one of the top prospects in the Northeast last summer. And Zach DiSabatino, kid from South Shore Sport Fighting, ran through him.
Is that Cage Titans?
That was at Cage Titans.
Okay.
That was my last fight at Cage Titans. I ran through him like a wet paper bag. Brought myself on the Contender Series, which is the Dana White product.
I was watching that here.
So it's like it's like a farm league for the UFC. Like
Yep.
Dana White goes out, or his talent guys go out, and they find all of the best unsigned people in the world, and they put them in a cage, and they say, if you fight hard enough, you can have a contract. You know what I mean? It's like
All out.
it's like a blood sport.
Balls
you know
to
what
the
I mean?
walls.
Like, you put your fucking life hard dream in
right.
front of everybody and say, well, if you knock him out, you might get a contract to do what you really love to do. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
awesome, dude, because everybody wants to fight, everybody
Hell
wants
yeah.
to win, everybody wants to contract. So I ended up beating this invincible kid from South Korea.
Yeah.
He had over 300 fucking, not Sandu, but another Chinese kickboxing. He had over 300 fights in
Really?
that before he made the switch to MMA. He was 5-0. I didn't understand why nobody would fight him. They had a really hard time matching him for the contender before Crew Mark got the call.
Yep.
And come to find out, the kid's got like hella fights.
300 fights. I mean, I'd say so.
5-0 in the MMA. Over
How old
300
is
fights.
that dude?
I think he was in his late 20s. I think he's 20.
And he already has
29.
3. I mean, that's like over in Thailand.
But I think he's been like, he's probably, yeah. So,
You know, they start fighting at what, 3-4 years old?
but it's not unheard of to have amateur boxers with 200 fights.
Yeah, sure. That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
At the same time, but those are the dudes that like I box with now.
Yeah.
They're just elite, savage
That's all
killers.
they
like
do.
they've been cultured into boxing.
Right,
They've been, they've been
right.
handled appropriately. They've
Right.
been brought up
Yeah.
appropriately. They're
what they do.
everybody that they fight is just good enough for them to work on the next thing that they need to work
Sure,
on.
yeah.
So it allows you to really refine on your craft, which like that's what I love about boxing. Like the amateur boxing, like
Amateur
motherfuckers,
boxing's great.
They get groomed right into being killers.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
From a very young age, but.
But you say that's a difference between MMA and boxing?
So I
Amateur?
think it's coming around full circle. It's starting to become a growing trend, you know, where like you don't need to always fight the toughest fights because like MMA is unforgiving. Like you only get so many knockouts before like you got to hang it up because your brain's not going to hold
Sure.
on
Yeah.
for much longer.
Right.
And our gloves are really small.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Just protecting the hands, right? And pretty much.
Yeah.
So don't break your fucking hand.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
So I think if you do it right, you can bring fighters along appropriately, but it takes a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. And that's one thing, too, I think, for any aspiring MMA fighters out there, you got to dedicate a lot of your time, if not all of your time, to training, right?
Yeah, definitely, and also like selling tickets. So like,
Yep.
if I wasn't one of the top ticket sellers for Cage Titans,
Yep.
like he wouldn't have been
Pushing you.
so apt to bring in fighters for me to fucking destroy.
Gotcha.
While I was
a
coming up as
business,
an
too.
amateur, yeah,
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
music.
not an amateur as a pro,
Yep.
like early in my pro career. You know, like he was usually paying the guys to show up to fight me like a lot more money than I was getting.
Really?
Yeah.
Pay and win, they were getting more to show.
Really?
And I had to, you know, I was selling enough tickets to cover that dude's purse, to cover his plane ticket, to like,
Okay.
that wasn't like, and it wasn't like, he wasn't like, if you don't sell X amount of tickets, you owe me money.
Yeah.
I
Worked
did
out
it because
that way.
I knew he was paying all these things out of pocket to make sure that I was doing the things that I needed to be doing. So I
Gotcha.
made sure I was doing the things that needed to be done to make sure he could cover, so he could afford to do it.
Gotcha.
So like I went out of my, like me and my brother always crushed ticket sales, T-shirt sales, like
Yeah, you're good with
huge
that, the
following,
marketing.
like
You
everything.
market yourself well.
Everything.
And it's just like music. It's he's pretty much describing how putting on a show or a concert works and everything else. It's
Well, it's the same.
It's a business. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the
There's
day.
a business side of it that a lot of people miss, dude. And so
Absolutely.
when I was in Denver, I went to Regis University. I have a business degree in marketing and in management. So like,
Also, yeah, you're good.
so I
with
have that background. You know what I mean? Like, so it was a lot easier for me to build those things within fighting. But like, had I not had that education, dude, I wouldn't have known to do
you've been-
those
yeah,
things.
right.
Like I would have missed out on that whole revenue stream.
Do you think that hurts a lot of, say, really talented fighters who might not have that marketing strategy or the ability to, say, sell the tickets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people realize the amount of what goes on to putting in shows. Like people probably think like Mike Pulver makes a ton of money off of Cage Titans. I'll tell you
Yeah.
right now, the dude makes like not like
Breaking even?
pretty much.
Yeah,
Dude, he puts
yeah.
all of his money back into his shows, and well, assuming everything opens back up again,
Right.
in the next year or so. But like, he hasn't had any shows since the
Right,
corona. Like
sure.
he's not losing money, but he's not making money.
Right,
But like
exactly.
the money he makes just enough money to cover his shows. And
Right.
That's about it.
Right. Just like concert
So-
promoters, a lot of them. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's got to put like a $20,000 bond down every time he has a show,
Right.
for the insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. That's expensive.
So I know what kind of costs go into it from the business side because I think that way. Like my family does restaurants, so I've been in some sort of service industry since I was a kid. So
No doubt.
I understand all these things, and then I went and got the education to like back it all up, like. Because that's what I thought I was supposed to do, which is a different conversation. But I ended up going to college before getting back to doing what I really wanted to do, which is fighting. But it gave me the opportunity to apply everything that I learned to the fighting to turn it into a business, to make sure that I was doing everything I could to promote myself as a brand and to create a following. And now, like, my last fight, I sold over 400 shirts.
Killing it, man. Killing it.
Did I mail you? Did you order?
No, I haven't gotten one yet. But I if you got them today,
I meant to bring them. Dude, I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, that's all.
I
good.
meant to bring you guys shirts before
it's all
I came
good,
down
bro.
here. I was in the best intentions. So
blame it on the marijuana.
I have an address in my ways now, so now I can mail it down.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. It's all good. I definitely need to. I've been on it since I met you. I'm like,
this is my latest one. They're all T-shirts. I made a tank top for myself.
hell yeah, man. Make sure you go out there and get those Slippery Pete knockout sauce shirts.
Dope shirts.
Yeah,
yeah, man. Well, he's telling you guys out there right now, all your aspiring fighters, get your marketing game on point. Market yourself.
Find people that know more than you do and ask them questions.
Yeah.
Like, just ask for help. There's so many people out there, fighters, like non-fighters that are doing other things in other industries, man. Like, a lot of people are going to be really flattered if you just ask for help, and they'll do their best to help you as much as they can, because then they kind of become part of your team.
Right.
So, like,
asking
asking for help is fucking huge in a lot of things that a lot of people don't have the balls to even ask.
Do a lot of fighters have managers?
I would,
like at the highest levels.
Oh yeah, and it's a small few. There's like a few like powerhouses, and then there's a lot of smaller guys. But at my level, everybody's managed.
Yeah.
At the lower levels, a lot of the regional guys might not be managed so heavily, but under contract with the manager in the event that they evolve into something that needs to be better handled. So like. Real quick, so I'm managed by Top Game Management and Tyson Chartier.
Shout out to them.
He started back at Sit Yatong. He fought way back in the day. He manages Rob Font, Calvin Cater, amongst many other guys, but those are some of the names you'd recognize.
Okay.
And, I was never under contract with him in the beginning, but he would always be like, Peter, you're not fighting this guy. Peter, fight this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, don't fight this guy. Fight that guy. Don't fight this guy. Don't fight that guy. I think it was around like 5-0, 6-0, where it was like, all right, here's the contract. Now we're going to start really putting, the work behind it and like try to get you to that next level. But maybe I'm different. I mean, I always, try to find people that are better, like get the manager so I'm not fucking myself and shooting myself in the foot.
You need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't, like, I'm a big fan of like coaches and like finding a better person to do the job and then like making them do it. Or so like having the manager, paying the manager to do his job, like having a boxing coach to learn boxing,
absolutely.
Not to, like, just sit there and watch stuff on YouTube or like watch other guys do it. You know what I mean? Like find someone that's much better. Yeah, find someone that's much better at it and learn from them.
That's how you're gonna learn, exactly.
Yeah.
So what would you say your toughest fight out of your whole career so far has been?
Man, the toughest fight, like to win, like the toughest fight for me to watch and the toughest fight for me to reflect on was definitely the last one against Yusuf Zalal. Okay. My debut.
That was
like,
a tough fight.
I watched that fight, dude, and like honestly, the first time I rewatched it was just like a week or two ago, because I was like, I know what I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
And it's gonna frustrate me. It's gonna like I'm gonna like get all emotionally worked up and invested.
Sure,
like I'm
that makes
still
sense,
waiting the like I know how the fight ends, but I'm gonna watch it like it's live, like it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And dude, I just felt like I was stuck in second gear. So like, obviously eating that big kick in the opening 15 seconds of that fight set the tone for him, and he was able to like gain momentum and run.
Sure.
And, like, I just never got in rhythm.
Yeah.
Could never like break through after that kick. But it was just so hard for me to watch me like. It almost looked like I was holding back the whole fight.
Did you see that? You didn't see that kick, right? At all,
I
right?
did last minute.
As it's hitting.
It's because he feinted the knee. We circled and then he ripped it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw it. I braced for it. Thankfully, it didn't knock me out. I still don't believe I was concussed from it. And that's why I didn't watch the fight, because I remember the whole fight unfolding as it unfolded.
Right.
And everything I watched is exactly what I remembered. And I just, like, I miss punching holes through people, and I didn't do that in that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like,
yeah.
I've been on the other side of that, where I've kicked off with a big knee and then just destroyed the kid in the first round.
Yeah,
but like,
right.
It just, it just wasn't my night. It was still a really good fight. I still showed like a ton of heart, but
Yeah, absolutely.
the
No
toughest
question.
fight for me to win was probably the Contender Series when I fought Sang Hun Yu, the kid from South Korea. He was a fucking monster.
Yeah, he was
dude.
good.
Like,
Definitely.
He was a fucking giant.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, and for being like a South Korean, like you just think like
300
Koreans are
fights,
small guys. Like this dude, he was like 6'1". Like he
Yep.
was like
That was
he
the
looked
kid
like when he
too.
rehydrated, he looked like a Chip on a good day, and I was
Yep.
like, damn,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and you know how big Chip is.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like he was a lot to handle. He was big, dude, and I just had to wear him down and like really like just try to snatch his soul. But
Hey, man. I mean, you did it.
yeah,
You
that's what got me the contract,
W, bro.
dude. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like it was
Oh,
a
that
lot.
was his fight?
That was the fight, that I got the contract.
Yeah,
from Dana.
yeah, man. That was a good fight. I watched it here on the widescreen on the what is
Movie
it the movie projector?
projector,
Yeah, man. So as a professional MMA fighter, what do you think the future of MMA is as of right now with the whole COVID thing going on? And I know they're obviously doing fights again with no people in the stands, but you know, what do you see it going?
I mean, I don't mind the closed arenas and the closed
Really?
event centers, dude. Like everybody's like, dude, don't you feel like you missed out on the fans? And I'm like, I didn't even think about it, dude. Like I was there to fight. Like I got my walkout song. I had a good
Yeah.
time. I smiled my whole way to the
Yeah,
cage.
yeah,
like
yeah.
that was my goal, to be present and to have a good time.
Yeah.
And
That's actually interesting. So I was talking to somebody at work about it, like football and basketball and stuff. I'm like, again, there's no energy out there. But you're saying that energy doesn't even matter. You're
yeah,
just there
dude.
to fight.
You're there to fight. And I mean, I imagine if like the dudes playing basketball right now, like they have to really get competitive to be beating the guy across from them to
Right.
be like solely invested in the
Yeah.
game where they don't have the crowd anymore. So maybe it's like, I don't know.
Maybe better. In the
This is just me thinking it out. Maybe it's making them become more competitive and better because they have to be more present in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they can't rely on the fans. But like for me, dude, like I had my song, dude, that was good for me, that made me think of my dad, made me
Yep.
think of my stepdad, made me think of my brother, dude, and like I
Motivation.
smiled the whole way out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
dude. And I just didn't really let the crowd be an issue. Like I never even thought of it. You
That's
know?
a good way to
Someone was
look
like,
at it.
Yeah.
you know, and then someone obviously was like, well, don't you think, you know, if the crowd saw you get back up after that spinning kick, it could have changed the momentum? And I'm like, fuck you for saying that, because now that's going to haunt me. But I never thought of that. Like, that never crossed my mind. That, like, if there was 1 million people in an arena cheering me on because I got back up, like, if that was going to change the way I would perform. And, like, maybe it would have, dude, but I don't know. So I'm not going to, like, give that shit any energy to, like, because then I'm just going to stress myself out about it.
How prevalent when you're fighting and the coaches in your corner are yelling? How much do you really actually hear them yelling and trying to give you direction during the fight? That's something I've wondered. So
Back to high school wrestling, you learn how to wrestle and listen to your coach on the side of the mat. So you learn how to hear a voice. And like, yeah, I'm not. High school wrestling, you're not in an arena packed with like drunk people cheering you on, but like you're in a gymnasium, it's loud, there's people there, so you learn. It's a learned like skill.
Yep.
To
You
learn how to
develop
like,
it, yeah.
you can develop
Yeah.
how to listen to your coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, even in like when I go compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments, like I make someone sit in the corner and like watch and tell me if I'm missing anything.
Sure.
Like, and then I'll mid-match, I'll look over and be like,
yeah.
Am I doing everything? You see anything I'm missing? Am I missing anything over here? Right? Like, where should I go now?
Yeah.
But not having fans, like, it's clear as day. You can hear both corners back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a conversation. You can hear most fart. You know what I'm saying?
Have you competed in a lot of jiu-jitsu grappling tournaments?
It hasn't worked out that way recently. Even pre-COVID, it's been a few years. But there was a period where I was trying to do like all the nagas, as many of the nagas that I could.
Sure.
Just to like stay, like to be competing more regularly, because you still got to go through the same checks in your head, like before you get on the mat to compete against someone in a jiu-jitsu tournament as you do to get it, like to go fight someone. Like,
Sure.
You still like the same adrenaline build up and dump and getting ready to go out there and compete and to put your tools to work to make sure they're better than the next guys. But with like injury scheduling, working, it's been a lot harder. So when I worked full time and I didn't work weekends, it was easier to compete on the weekends. But now that I bartend on the weekends and train all week, it's harder to find the time on Saturdays to compete.
How did you find as a wrestler the transition to jiu-jitsu?
So if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you know right away if someone's wrestled, because like the output and the pace is just really different. Like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys will like hang out, they're on their back, they're not really, you know, as long
they
as
want to be on their back,
right? As long as it's BJJ and you're not getting punched, like you can do jiu-jitsu really efficiently and really slow and really smooth, or you can do a jiu-jitsu really fast and competitively. And because like of all that fast twitch like programming from wrestling, like, I wrestle really fast and I do my jiu-jitsu really fast. So I love the fact that it's like jiu-jitsu, it's like wrestling with handles.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm in a gi, but if not, like a lot of the stuff that I've been doing at Lozon's for the last 2 years has been, or a year and a half, has been all no-gi.
Right.
So it's just pure grappling. You know what I mean? It's wrestling and it's jiu-jitsu. Like I don't really do slow jiu-jitsu anymore. I do more of like grappling versus, which is, it's hard to explain if you don't know the difference between like say like grappling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu is, where like grappling is more wrestling styled, or like submission wrestling.
Sure. I like submission wrestling.
So,
I dig submission wrestling. Would you prefer to fight a striker or a jiu-jitsu guy or a grappler?
I prefer a striker, dude. I prefer a striker that'll stand in the middle and fight with me and not run around the cage.
You want
the
to tee
whole
off,
time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want someone that wants to fight.
He wants to give the crowd what they want.
Exactly. You always need, like at the end of the day, dude. We're prize fighters. We're entertainers. Like we're, as much as it is about us being like better fighters, at the end of the day, someone's buying a ticket to watch us beat the shit out of each other for their fucking enjoyment.
Right. And that's been one criticism I've heard from people, like a lot of old school guys, maybe some boxing guys, is that I don't want to watch this these guys laying on top of each other, you know, grappling and all this. And I could say from a spectator standpoint, like I respect jiu-jitsu. I like training, grappling and everything, but from a spectator standpoint, you really want to see guys throw down.
Yeah, but you can still like wrestle fuck people. You can still be effectively aggressive with it. You can like Khabib.
Yeah, well, that's true.
He can skull fuck you into the corner of the cage and then make you scream like a little girl. Like
he's
when
no
he fought
joke,
Connor,
bro.
dude. Like
I know.
Everybody's like, oh, it wasn't even a choke. No, the neck crank is worse than a choke. The choke, you go out. The neck crank, your jaw's gonna break if you don't tap. You know what I mean? And he's an Eastern hard-nosed European.
Wrestling bears, dude, as a kid. You seen that video?
Yeah, absolutely.
Russians are crazy, bro.
So,
they're no joke.
You can still be aggressive with wrestling, or you can be GSP and be boring with wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
true.
Wrestling bears?
Yeah, in Russia, in Russia, right? They have them.
It's a regular practice.
Yeah, it's a regular practice. It's like a bear cub. You know, it's not a full-grown bear, but still.
But they're dude. They turn out like world champion wrestlers.
Yeah, Sambo, right? Sambo. That's a hard style right there. So off the topic of MMA, my man right here is a big music head. So I just wanted to I know you're a big music supporter. He knows my guys, DGAF. He's always representing for DGAF. Yeah. Shout out to Chucky Chuck. I was on tour with those guys like shit, man, probably 8 years ago, and they're good dudes, man. So I just wanted to ask you, what are you listening to for music these days? What do you got on the playlist right now?
Dude, so Vinny Paz just re-released Assassin's Creed, right?
I saw that. I saw that.
Listening to that again. There was a couple remixes on the end of that, dude. But like today was Deltron, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, same guy, but different vibes.
Yep.
People Under the Stairs.
Okay.
Sometimes I go way back with it and get like a different vibe.
Underground hip hop, independent style.
Everything.
Yeah, man. No doubt.
Let's see, like. Spotify is good because they give you those mixes right on top.
Yeah,
what do we got? Freddie Madball.
All right, my brother.
Del. Slip Roll. Squad Goals. He's some white dude that raps, kind of poppy, but it's good to work out music. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Struggle Jennings.
Yeah, no doubt. Struggle's dope,
Jelly
man.
Roll.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell
I listen
yeah.
to a lot of Tech Nine.
Yeah, man. Shout out, big ups to Tech Nine.
I listen to a lot of Head PE.
Powerhouse. Word.
Dude, a lot of like underground East Coast, like Apathy.
Hell
everybody.
Shout out to App, man.
A lot of DMS guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, I mean, we go back and forth posting YouTube videos,
I know,
back and forth.
That's one way we link, man. Yeah.
It's just like,
hell yeah,
have you seen this one? Oh, have you seen this one? Dude? Have you seen this one? Dude? Like,
I know. That's one way I linked with you. I was like, this dude got a great taste of music.
So, and it's like, there's so much good music out there if you know what to listen to.
Yeah.
And there's a time and place for like the mainstream shit.
Yeah,
like,
no
you
doubt.
Just need like some mindless workout
Absolutely,
music, like mumble
bro.
rap is
Absolutely.
great. But if you want to get down and listen to some people that can really fucking rip it
Hell
up,
yeah.
there's a time and a place for that as well. You're not going to hear it on the radio. It's not, you don't get spoiled like that anymore.
Yeah.
But
you follow it.
Exactly, dude.
We'll find it. We'll hear it.
There's little clicks of everything everywhere.
And you're a rock. You like rock too, right? I mean, metal.
Rock,
I hear you
rap,
playing.
punk,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I know. I've
You
heard
know,
you playing some hate breed in the gym. And
Yes.
it's people like, yo, what the fuck
People
is?
get so
Yo,
mad
who's this?
if
Pete?
I
Pete
don't-
put this on.
If I don't put fucking hip hop on,
I'm
in
like,
the
fuck
gym,
yeah, bro.
People get so mad. If I put a little fucking like old school dubstep on, people are like, dude, what are you? I'm like, bro. I was in clubs for like 4 or 5 years. I was a club rat, dude. There was a large part of my life where all I did was stay up all night,
No doubt.
into the mornings,
No
listen
doubt.
to EDM,
Yes,
doing
sir.
God knows what,
Yes,
with
sir.
who knows who. And
Yeah.
Denver's a great city for that.
Yeah. Shout out to. I've been to Denver a few times. Well, I've been. It was once for a few days. Denver's a great city.
A lot of good people
Yeah,
out
it's a
there.
cool
A lot
city.
of big clubs out there.
Hell yeah, man. All right. So, what are your upcoming plans? You got any fights in the works? Anything you could talk about? Or
So nothing scheduled yet. I got a medical suspension the night of my fight, some soft tissue, so my ribs were a little fucked up, and I have my follow-up to get cleared the first week of October.
Okay.
So once I get cleared the first week of October, then I can start to get scheduled again. So my goal right now is to drop the extra weight, get back in like really, really good shape, and be ready to go on like 2 to 3 weeks notice the first week of October.
gotcha.
You know, because like, dude, you see Mike Rodriguez, he just fought 3 weeks ago, knocked Old Boy out in the first round, and then fought Ed Herman again this weekend, back-to-back 2 fights in 3 weeks. That's the kind of shit I was looking for going into my last fight. Unfortunately, I had a last-minute replacement between
That's
the
right.
fighter to this new guy.
That's right.
This kid's coming in on 3-fight win streak. He's 3 fights in 2020 alone. Like, Old Boy has been crushing it. He came in on a hot streak.
That's right.
And I kind of got Kansas City shuffled on that one, but like I still showed up and still put on an entertaining fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
But that thing aside, I want to get ready to go, build some momentum, and just fight. Like Dana said, if you're ready and you're willing to fight, we will schedule you. Just
doubt.
if you're ready, you're ready. And you know,
So you got to stay in shape,
yeah,
stay
dude,
on point.
Stay on shape.
Yeah.
Stay on the diet regimen. Stay tuned in and just stay active.
Yeah, man, for sure. Keep grinding it out and keep fighting. So do you have anything, any shout outs you want to give? Your social media, website, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Slippery Pete 145. Check out Chucky Chuck D Gaff, dude.
Hell yeah.
His Friday post, his mystery box post every Friday, dude. I crack up. I send them to at least 15 people every
Hell
Friday.
yeah,
I'm
man.
dying,
Shout out to
dude.
Chucky, man.
Dude's a riot.
Hell yeah.
Then you got Siya Tong, Lozon MMA.
Absolutely.
Joe Lozon's a fucking
No doubt.
living
Legend,
Dude,
yeah.
keep your eyes peeled. Like, who knows? He might be fighting again.
I like to see
You know
that.
what I mean? He's been training a lot lately. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
He's not officially retired, but he thought Boston might be the last one. But who
He's
knows?
another tough fighter too, man.
Oh, he's another
100%.
dude. Tough.
That's that New England blood,
Tough
man.
as nails, dude.
You
It's
know,
that Boston hardcore
yeah,
shit, bro.
Hell
Everybody
yeah,
like-
bro.
Pat Militek watching me fight was like, oh nope, he's a Boston tough guy. He's not taking anyone down. He's gonna stand there and brawl. And I'm like, yeah, bro, we're different.
It's true.
Breed out
It is
here.
a different breed.
But yeah, skill of strength. That's where my strength and conditioning's at.
No doubt.
Zenden, you guys heard me mention them a few
Zenden,
times.
yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
That's badass over there. They're in Norwell. They got it all hooked up over there. But that's pretty much it, man.
Cool, bro. Well, thank you for coming on. That was great. And guys, be on the lookout for Slippery Pete. Slippery Peter Barrett. He's going to be fighting again real soon.
Hey, Peter, thank you for coming down, hanging out with us.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate
most
it.
definitely.
Slippery Pete. Follow him, Instagram, social media networks. Street Corner Soapbox. We're out of here.
Peace.